Hey, howdy, howdy, good evening. It's time for the Trump Assassination Files, live from Franklin County, Virginia. I'm your host, Mitchell Bupp. Hey, welcome, welcome. Hope y'all are doing great this evening. We're hanging out here waiting for breaks and promotions to come through here on Revolution Radio. We'll kind of talk in the meantime. But I have that all hooked up on the side here, ready to go. Woo, man. It's been a crazy 24 hours, I guess you could say, as Donald Trump psychologically led everybody believe that they were going to nuke Iran. And, you know, it's a shame that these seasoned journalists and all these other people are caught up in this pressure cycle and this and just so close. They got to make gotta. When the truth is, they don't have to choose to play. Everybody should know and understand that Donald Trump, his wiping the civilization out. What a joke. What an absolute joke. Okay? Now, Tucker Carlson is jumping up and down and screaming, you know, Iran, bomb. We can't nuke Iran. Donald Trump's going crazy. Ignore his orders. Let him get the codes himself, and all kinds of stupid rhetoric coming from, across the spectrum today about what is and isn't Donald Trump doing. So yeah, waiting on. I guess we have a station promo, and then we'll be going right into Rev Radio. We'll kick in the main part of this show, which of course is really 2 or 3 components today, if you want to look at it: the past, the present, and the near future, where Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is now rumored to be, all the rhetoric going out of his fucking mind. Okay. Let me see what we got here. We've got here we go. Get ready. I guess I probably should just start the shows at 8:02 or something, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. It's time for the Trump Assassination Files, covering the trials and tribulations of Donald Trump from his early days as enemy of the deep state to being persecuted and having seditious and traitorous elements of the United States government. Literally, man, did I turn that off or turn that on or whatever? No, I muted a button. I'm sorry, Rev Radio. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. I think I got it going there, okay? But anyway, the Trump Assassination Files, chronicling this change and these change in operations and psychological efforts to rein in Donald Trump, which have been very successful in Donald Trump's second term. He has been found and weighed and measured. Okay. Donald Trump is a puppet on a string at this point in his presidency. Meanwhile, of course, if you're not aware, there is this, there is a supposed a supposed pause in bombing, and Iran is going to reopen the straits for a few weeks. Okay. Now, there are 10 demands in all of this. The first demand should be, and the first thing should be said, that the United States and fucking Israel. I mean, look, if none of this includes Israel, then you know. Now, Israel has said that they will have a ceasefire if the Straits of Hormuz opens back up, okay? Hmm. Well, anyway. So, Donald Trump essentially, bluffing Iran into surrender. Okay, let's be honest. All right, um, no president in their right mind, and still believe Donald Trump's in his right mind, even though his soul has been hollowed out and compromised as the Israelis have essentially fucked Donald Trump so hard over the Epstein blackmail files that his whole soul is hollowed out at this point. That's kind of how I look at it all. But anyway, so Trump, so this alleged threat where Trump says a whole civilization will die tonight. I don't know what exactly, he doesn't have a real comprehension. One, about Iran, and number two, about, well, nuclear weapons in general. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, this is screwed up to say, but a limited nuclear war with 5 to 10 nuclear warheads going off, between in city states, might wake the world up to exactly what we're dealing with here. Okay, that's another reason why Israel shouldn't have nuclear weapons. But so anyway, civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I wouldn't want that to happen, but it probably will, he wrote, on social media, of course. I mean, really. Anyway, so Donald Trump has essentially said 40-some years of, oh, I have that clip. Hang on. Where's my bookmarks? There they are. Yeah, here it is. Trump essentially says, for 47 years, they talk shit and nobody did shit. And so he did shit. And, well, that's, basically, it's kind of a short clip, but, basically the real question, I guess, the question from the reporter was, why had not previous presidents taken on how should we say it, Iran directly, as Trump did with Israel. Okay, now honestly, let's be honest, Hezbollah and Hamas had both been essentially gutted by Israel in the last couple years of war in the Gaza Strip and in Israel, okay, in Lebanon, in Syria. All right, let's not lie to ourselves. Iran is all of its proxies have been killed over the last few years. Don't forget 70,000 people killed, most of them civilians, and a lot of children murdered and slaughtered in the Gaza Strip. Israel complains when, one Iranian drone gets through and kills 4 people and wounds 20. Okay. It's such a unequal fight there. Okay. But anyway, it is Yeah. So will this? Will this? Did I open it up? Yeah, here it is. I just don't think I shared it with you. Sorry about that. Yeah, Trump has been psychologically compromised. And what I would tell you is I would say to everybody and to watch how people are compromised psychologically. Okay? That's what I would say to people. But here's this.
Very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents.
What Trump had to say at a press conference, okay, about this, about all this stuff, okay. Now the real problem is, what rises out of all of that. Where is Iran's nuclear material? And as I said before, they can just create their own electromagnetic pulse bomb. They don't have to, go directly over Israel. They just have to get close enough and a high enough altitude where if they explode this weapon, it creates this electromagnetic pulse that wipes out, power in Tel Aviv. And then you start launching all your shit. That's all I'm trying to say. There, this whole idea about neutralizing Iran, I really, I think you're uncorking an entire civilization into a fight for their lives. And here's the other part of this. While part of Islam doesn't like them, they are also brothers of Islam. That's what I would say. Okay, and I think at the heart, in the heart of it, at the end of it, they'll all be Muslims. Just like Catholic and Protestants, joining together and fighting Nazism in Europe. That's all I'm trying to say. That's this is something that could or could not happen. I don't know. So, of course, the Iran's humiliating demands for Trump include $1 million ship fee for the Hormuz Strait. President has agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with Iran to negotiate on a 10-point proposal, including lifting sanctions and guaranteed no attacks and a permanent end to war. I do not believe that Israel will allow that to happen. Every time we turn around, those that are trying to negotiate with the negotiate with Iran, those leaders get killed. They get bombed, right after talking with U.S. leadership. So why would they want to go and talk with U.S. leadership? Okay. I really don't know. I think they've all pretty much have lost their ever-loving fucking mind in most cases. Let's see what else we got going on here, because there's a lot more going on, here in the United States than Trump, using Zionism as a weapon in the Middle East. Okay. Pete Hegseth has removed a number of generals. I guess because of somewhat because of their gender policies. Things are still working out through that system. Also, these guys were questioning the leadership and the strategies used by Trump and his team. Literally, there's these complaints within the military, the Pentagon, that all of the people that are close to Trump, that are on Trump's team, had never had a leadership role in the military, and that includes Pete Hegseth. Okay, so they're all losing it. The truth is. The truth is, Iran is weak and has been weak, and they've been in the middle of a drought. The economic turmoil around the world just isn't impacting Asia. In Asia, there are factories shutting down because they're not getting oil and petroleum products that they can turn into neoprene and plastics and all this other stuff. Those some of those factories are already shutting down. The amount of fertilizer that is needed, ammonia for the fertilizer that is coming out of the Gulf. That's another major bottleneck that nobody talks about. Oil had briefly jumped to $150 a barrel. I believe it's kind of coming down some. Let's see what the let's see where we get. Oh, here we go. Let's see. They're all down. Most of them are down under $100. Some of them down to 92, 94 already. Gasoline is falling. Of course, you won't see that arrive at the pumps for a couple days to a week, even though the gas prices go up overnight. They take weeks to come down. Everybody's got to rake in that extra money that they were charged or had to pay for that gas that's in the thing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, that is going on. What else? Let me see. What the dang thing we got going on here? Of course, if you're not aware, the bullet used in the assassination of Charlie Kirk does not match the so-called shooter's rifle, and this isn't. This is the FBI lab that is saying this. All right. So yeah. Let's see what else we got going on here. Trump is I guess Trump is not planning a ground invasion, even though there seemed to be elements of the Marines that were seen in Basra, Iraq, probably staging and training and staging. For possible action. So yeah, it's not good. Okay. Where are we at here? Word has come out that around military bases, strippers were revealing Trump's invasion plans. And spilling secrets. Now remember, these are all efforts to start rumors and propaganda to keep people looking, certain places. It really is a fog of war type of situation where distractions are used. I mean, if you're not aware, in the next few weeks will actually be how many years since 1980 when the U.S. attempted to rescue the hostages in Iran. It was literally, to that date, that that all of this major this conflict where Iran had taken I think it was 66, but I think some were traded or escaped, and it was 53 hostages, if I remember right offhand, taken in Iran during the Ayatollah Khomeini overthrows. And Jimmy Carter attempted an operation to rescue those hostages. That failed. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's a lot of same stuff happening. In the same within the same month. Gosh, 45 years later. Imagine that. And the U.S. had two pilots down allegedly. That were strange, that the pilots that were down were just 25 miles or 25 kilometers, only 20 miles away from Iran's nuclear materials repository. Okay, just happened to be all those two C-130s and those light attack helicopters, reconnaissance helicopters that were there. Oh, I mean, I don't think those are listed on a manifest somewhere, but you can see them in the wreckage. Okay, so those two C-130s were carrying a lot more equipment than was just for what would you say, for a rescue operation to find two pilots. Okay, now the U.S. military has come out and said, "Oh, we used our whisper machine," and basically they track. They I guess they have a sensor where they track a radio signal, and at the same time they have some kind of system where they can actually hear the person's heartbeat. you know. So that's a system that they allegedly used to track down the navigator and the pilot of this alleged crashed aircraft. Okay. Now it's strange that Trump says there were no injuries on the ground on the American side in rescuing these pilots. Yeah, like I said, that raises the real question of whether troops had flown in and had a pre-staged equipment in an attempt to take Iran's nuclear material, using the downed pilot as a cover story for all the air traffic. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's immaterial. It's all dog and pony show. Wag the tail of the dog so everybody can scream and holler, yay, we got our pilot back, patriotic this. Huge distraction from the real question of what the fuck are we really doing in Iran, and why are we there, and what are the plans, now what are Trump's plans now to stop Israel from stealing the land, from stealing half of the Gaza Strip, from stealing 8 miles into Lebanon, 3 to 4 miles or more, into Syria, 20 some miles in some places, almost within sight of the capital of Syria. It is crazy, the world that we're living in today. And Donald Trump is just sitting here watching. And, Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador, should be recalled. He should be hauled back and said, look, get the fuck out. You're essentially using the power of the United States embassy office as a genocidal weapon. Okay, it's appalling, absolutely appalling what Trump is doing or allowing Israel to do. in concert with all of this bombing and all of this other stuff. Now, listen, the MAGA movement and the patriotic American movement, it isn't going away. It's not going away. And the truth is, Donald Trump is making major mistakes. Um, so yeah. Now, who in the hell? Well, what the? Anyway, that's not supposed to be there. So anyway, all right. We do have going back. If we head back to literally, if we go back and look at how should we say it, at the real evidence that we see today, that that the CIA and during the first Trump administration, the efforts to impeach Donald Trump. Okay, these organizations, a couple of them, were literally the CIA and USAID colluded together to fund projects to literally to get Donald Trump. Okay, these are known facts today. This isn't some conspiracy theory. These are things that we always knew were true, except there was no direct evidence linking this stuff. And now that 5 years of the statute of limitations as essentially clock is run out, these fucking bastards are just we're gonna find this stuff.
That the USAID and the CIA helped orchestrate Trump's impeachment?
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's a crazy story. I mean, you might forget that, the House of Representatives impeached President Trump in December of 2019. Many people may not remember that it was a CIA analyst who was left over from the Obama White House who wrote the memo that led to the impeachment. It was all based on hearsay. The person had not actually been in the room with Trump. Nonetheless, this memo that he wrote relied heavily on a report done by an organization funded by USAID. In fact, its initial founding funding, I mean, now it's tens of millions of dollars, had gone into this group called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a name that's not very memorable, OCCRP, but it was basically created as an extension of the State Department and then of USAID. And as you know, Jesse, this is very serious to be involved in an effort to do regime change at home, as we've been discovering as the files have come out with what Elon Musk has been doing. We know that USAID was really about regime change abroad. It was a kind of public-facing part, regime change operation like CIA, but not covert, more overt.
I have said, and I will maintain that I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people and others around the world. It boggles my fucking mind. Okay, I'm just saying, it boggles my mind because it's clear and obvious that the government conspiracies against Trump are real. We know Obama spied. We know the Democrats lied. And it just, they seem to have amnesia.
Well, now you see a similar blowback, just like they did censorship abroad and brought censorship tools back home. They were doing this sort of thing abroad, creating a predicate essentially for Trump's impeachment. So I think it's just one of many revelations that we'll see coming out in the next few weeks.
So USAID was involved in regime change abroad and here.
And here at the home, yes. Here in the United States, dumb nuts. Eric Ciaramella and Colonel Lard Ass Vindeman, okay? Frankly, the two motherfuckers ought to be waterboarded till they get gills. I mean, and then they should be taken up and released on the Calumet River. Is it no, I don't know about the Calumet River, but one of those rivers, maybe the one up in Alaska that has all the grizzly bears. We can tie them to a log and float them down through there. I don't even know the grizzly bears would want to touch their nasty ass. I'm just saying. These people are a bunch of fucking shitbags that we have that have pretended to be the leaders of America, okay? And all of them got fucking brain rot once they got into Congress. Maybe that's the whole deal. You become elected, then you get brain rot. I mean, I guess it's like when you're 80 years old and your asshole doesn't just hold tight anymore and you leak all the time. I guess that's what it's like to be in Congress. But I guess it is, because most of Congress is like 80 fucking years old, ain't it? I mean, I can imagine, I can imagine. I bet they have high security diaper dumps, in Congress. Mostly because these aged people, Mitch McConnell and others, are going to need, briefs and diaper changes and everything else. And those are hot national security risks. If people find out the drugs that Mitch McConnell or, who in the hell knows, Nancy Pelosi, I mean, God, they probably check her pee. It'd probably catch on fire, so much fucking alcohol coming out of it. I mean, really. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi probably keeps a coloscopy bag just so she can keep a spare sack of wine with her. That's my wine. Don't touch it. That's my wine. That's my bag. Don't touch it. It looked like, hey, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. Listen, if you want to create a secret flask so you can, you see where this one's going? So you can smuggle your rum or your liquor or your vodka, into wherever. Just pretend you got a colostomy bag on your leg. I'm just saying, and you can always just put a straw in it, right? Take it off your leg, put a straw in it, and be perfect Halloween gift. God, where in the hell this show roll off to, man? I am telling you. Yeah. Anyway, so the truth is out here. The truth is right there. If you look at it, if you want to see it, some people are more. How should we say it? They're more open about it than others. Okay. My friend, I really like this guy, Gerald Salente. Hey, what does Gerald have to say about it? Yes, Trends Journal. If you want to see the future tomorrow, today, okay. Check out Trends Journal. Here it is.
Again, that's why the cover of this Trends Journal is exactly what it is. It's Trump shit. Why isn't this guy being thrown out of office for his outright lies every fucking day? Calm down, Salenti. We'd watch you if you would only calm down. And we don't like your language. We're little cocksuckers. Ballless little pricks who like this bullshit. We swallow bullshit. Get it all around them. All right?
Hey, the problem is he's right. The problem is he's so right. I mean, and people are retarded. I mean, I'm sorry, but why are people so fucking retarded today? Here in Virginia, Democrats are lining up to gerrymander the state, okay, against trying to have a referendum when we just had a constitutional amendment put in. Now they want to change it so they can gerrymander the state of Virginia, 10 districts, 10 Democrats to 1. It is absolute madness. It is what, when you have these super majorities. politicians, this is what they do. They literally act as corporate monopolies, and the first thing they do is to not just limit competition, but they set all new rules. Here in Virginia, the fucking new Democrats passed 24 or is it 26 new gun laws in Virginia. And some of them are just plainly unconstitutional. Others are just, well, borderline retarded because, well, Democrats, I mean, face it, Democrats are borderline retarded, okay? They really are. So anyway, yeah, Trump addressed the nation on April Fool's Day, about an update about the Iran war, and, I guess it was an April Fool's joke after all this, going to wipe out the civilization of Iran. It is sheer crazy. Meanwhile, Trump is finding out that NATO is falling to the wayside as a majority of the major NATO countries now deny the U.S. The use of bases and airspace to attack Iran. That is yet another reason why the Trump is trying to get a solution. The other part of that is that there are a lot of other the political hot potatoes that are going on. Okay, and the CIA is playing all kinds of psychological war games against Russia, against Iranians, and against the American people, and of course, the ones across Europe. Okay. Let's see. There was just a clip announcer thing there about the Clayton Fuller wins Georgia's 14th district runoff. The race was called less than an hour and a half after polls closed at 7 p.m. local in a district represented by Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Democrats trying to lay claim that they were going to come and take that seat. And, well, I just think Marjorie Taylor Greene is, I don't know why she is running. Maybe she is trying to get the fuck out of Washington, D.C. because she sees exactly where Trump and his handlers are taking him, okay? But we shall see. We shall see. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Let me get down here. Pam Bondi, of course, was shit-canned later last week, I think it was. She asked Trump, come on, man, just give me a couple days to settle things down, and then I'll slide out the door, without being, thrown out to the wolves and whatever in public. And Trump says, no, you're fired. Now, there are probably multiple good reasons why Pam Bondi should have been fired as Attorney General, okay? However, Trump's new Attorney General is, is Trump's personal attorney. And he's acting, and he has essentially said, look, there are no more Epstein file dumps. That's all y'all are getting. That's all that is going to be made public. Okay? And we all know that there's a whole bunch more. And it's not being released because, one, it directly implicates politicians and businessmen related to fucking Israel. Okay? It's directly, some of the files directly relate to 9/11 and the aftermath and the managed care of the Jewish Mossad state at the time. I really think that that's some of the reasons why they have not released a lot of that. A lot of it is really, once people see it, they will demand fucking blood, skin, teeth. They will demand that people be put on a rack and split in fucking half for what they did to children. And then the disclosures start, okay? And the people like Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin and others. Now I have seen rumors, okay, or people claiming that, well, you know, Huma Abedin was convicted in a military tribunal somewhere. There were several people that were literally convicted of this stuff, this human trafficking and other stuff, and I don't know if that's true. You know, half the time I think it's there's a spectrum of people that put out this hopium, and there are a few people that believe it, but overall, I mean, let's be honest, we haven't seen results of any fucking thing done in this current Trump administration, okay? In fact, we got more information from the Democrats about what Trump was doing in the last fucking in the last administration of his, where Democrats were trying to take him out. Now Democrats are pretty much, well, buddied up with Trump. You know, it's a psychological war. And we all know who controls the golden shekels in Washington, D.C. Okay? And you know, we know that there's a lot of shit going on in America that we need to focus on, and that Donald Trump needs to pull his head out of his ass and try to be an American leader instead of being, you know, some kind of worldwide demigod. That's really what it seems like when it comes to, you know, Donald Trump. Okay. You know, as I said, you know, people are blaming Pam Bondi, you know, for the Epstein files. Okay. There's a dozen people that should be fired by the FBI. You know, they should have any security clearances they had. They should be revoked. And then on top of that, they should have a fucking, let's just say, an going out the door digital enema of all of the files and all of the things and an inventory of everything they've done, said, and done in the last 5 to 10 years. That should all be... I mean, look, they got it on me and you. They got it on all of us. You know, you think they let any social media post go by where you call these motherfuckers out, you know? You know they develop a file. You know how they keep track of everybody. And they use this this style of, what would you call it? You know, as somebody changes their behavior and changes their pattern and everything else, you know. Meanwhile, Democrats still lie. Democrats are concerned about this, what Donald Trump is doing in an attempt to secure the elections by having a national voter database. Okay. Now, I don't believe there's not a law or a federal authority, or there's nothing to stop Donald Trump and the federal government from creating a database of individuals who can legitimately vote as U.S. citizens, and whether their status is naturalized or not, okay, or permanent resident or blah blah blah. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if campaigns, whether they're independent or Republican or Democrat campaigns, if they can get a hold of voter rolls from the feds and say that these are the people we know for sure that are registered voters, that are eligible and are alive and breathing and competent to vote, then that person could get the voter database from the state of Virginia and do a cross check and see if check the voter rolls. But anyway, it's crazy. But we know Democrats have lied and will continue to lie and will continue to conflate mail-in ballots and absentee ballots and the validity and the reasons and everything else. We just know Democrats lie. So they want to have mail-in ballots, period.
Ballots to the people on the list that his DHS provides them. I mean, it's and then the Postal Service is going to ban the Postal Service from carrying mail-in ballots under certain circumstances. He doesn't have the power to do any of those things, none of them. But he is doing it because if he can create the master list of who.
Now that's Mark Elias there talking. He is basically the criminal architect of Fusion GPS and Hillary Clinton's PP smear dossier. So the truth is this fucker should have been in prison a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned.
Who can vote and who can't vote. Jessica, I have a feeling I know which list you and I are going to wind up on. I think I have a pretty good idea of what list a whole lot of Democrats are going to
gaslighting.
Donald Trump's entire political career was based on the idea that birth certificates don't actually prove citizenship. And it was aimed at Barack Obama, but that is where you wind up.
Look,
with
Democrats,
the justices here.
Democrats have such a selective, retarded memory. Okay, the truth is that Barack Obama's birth question was brought forth by Hillary fucking Clinton during their primary. Or is that an inconvenient truth that these poor fucking bastards don't want to hear about? Okay, remember, this guy is like a fucking Polish Karl Rove. I mean, the truth is, they both look like snakes in a fucking piss pile. That's how I view Mark Elias and Karl Rove together, as just turds in the pond. Yeah, floating along, man. I am telling you, I don't know what the fuck wrong with these poor bastards, but they're seriously fucked in the head. A liberal group has warned that Trump cannot be allowed to put 2 more Supreme Court members on the court. He said there could be 2 more picks if Donald Trump stays president and stays lucid. Yeah, that's the rumor that's going on out here. Okay. So Democrats have said they put a firewall up and said, just say no. We cannot allow this. We cannot allow Trump to put another 2 younger peoples on the U.S. Supreme Court. Now remember, Joe Biden's pick, Ketanji Brown, just pretty much tried to make an argument that if she shoplifts a wallet in Japan, that she is then a Japanese citizen and subject to their authority as a citizen. No, as a fucking crook, you idiot bitch. I mean, really, these, Jackson Brown, I think is her name, proved that she's beyond retarded and should not be on the U.S. Supreme Court when she used that analogy, I guess, in Donald Trump's, birthright case that's at the court right now. A decision hasn't come down yet, but it's you're hearing questions and things from both sides, and what it all really does boil down to is intent. Listen, this 14th Amendment to Emancipation Proclamation kind of a thing, where to make slaves U.S. citizens, wasn't really meant to extend to the circumstances of the peoples that we see today, okay? I mean, I'm just saying. It's a misapplication of the amendment itself to people who are transient. Regardless, okay? People are going to try to stay in the United States because, because it's the best place that they can get most free money. Let's be honest. California is being touted as having the biggest economy, in the states, and about the fourth or fifth or whatever number economy in the world, and they just found $150 million or billion dollars, with $1 billion of fraud in the healthcare industries and in taking care of senior citizens, hospice care. The same feed the fuckers as went on in Minnesota. What they have found is they have found complete fraud from the top to the bottom of the fucking systems in California. $99,000 per spent on each what do you call them, homeless person in San Francisco. You can ask any homeless person in San Francisco if they got $90,000 from the fucking government, or even in government services. They'll look at you and say, "What the fuck did you say?" Yeah, really. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has now said that the U.S. government is investigating Act Blue. Act Blue. I'm streaming live. Sharon, I'm streaming live online. Sorry. I guess she didn't want to be on camera, and I understand. Sitting back here listening to me talk about all this stuff. Yeah, it's crazy stuff, okay? But Act Blue, okay, the Democrat money bundler that literally was caught by James O'Keefe and others, where, they were making a donation after donation after donation under somebody's name. And then people were making 200 donations, in a election cycle. And, they're poor elderly people, and they're like, "No, I didn't give $8,000 to the Democrats. Are you fucking nuts?" Anyway, yeah, the premier fundraising machine is in serious legal jeopardy. Now, what they did was, this is absolutely hilarious. You know how they were getting around the requirements, because they were using the same people's banking information and all that stuff, right? They were not putting the security code feature like it's on the back of your debit card. So you could use somebody's card. You could put a donation in under their name, okay? But never use that extra security number on the back that they always ask for, okay? So what they were doing is they were making ghost donations, and there were millions, tens of millions of dollars. Now, Act Blue has the law firm Covington and Burling wrote in one of two memos expressing legal concerns. One raised the specter of a criminal investigation if prosecutors believed Act Blue had tried to conceal facts about its efforts to prevent foreign contributions. The memos instigated a meltdown at the highest levels of Act Blue, one of the Democrat Party's most vital financial money laundering organizations. Remember what Joe Biden said? We put together the biggest voter fraud system you ever saw. Paraphrasing, but yeah, it's crazy, okay? Because of all the straw donations that have been made through people's cards, or credited to people, blah, blah, blah. Listen, and the problem is the money went from A to B, and they used the person's card, but you know what? It never came out of that person's account. A supplied the money to the card, and then B put it on there, and it never hit the person's bank. I wonder if you could, if you were a person that they did that to, and they funneled $20,000-$30,000 through your account over a couple of years. I wonder if you could claw that back, call it illegal donations made off of your card, and that never hit your bank. I mean, and the real question is, how does that really happen by accident? It doesn't happen by accident. We all know it doesn't happen by accident, right? We all know it's just a loophole that's set there so Act Blue can exploit it and bring in millions of dollars of Chinese and other monies into the Democrat Party. Oh, don't forget the Ukrainians. Hey, we'll be right back, Rev Radio. You're on break. So, while Revolution Radio is on break, if you're not aware, there has come direct evidence that the Ukrainians attempted to use a series of shell companies, non-governmental organizations, to essentially take money from the U.S. government and funnel millions of dollars back to the Pedo Joe campaign for his 2024 run. Okay. Now, the run never materialized because Joe Biden was an empty slate, okay? He was pretty much out to lunch by then. A lot of these other investigations by Trump have gone nowhere, and nobody seems to be working on them. And now you have Pam Bondi's little brother, Dan Bonagino. Look, they're not related, okay? I'm just saying they literally sucked Trump's ass, and did they do what they should have done, what they morally should have done in the Trump administration? I don't think they did. I think Pam Bondi was told to shut down those fucking investigations into the Epstein files, pretty much because, well, everything indicated Israel. And that's really fucked up to say, that Israel would have that much control over the American government and the gutless motherfuckers that we have elected to those positions. Okay? I just think it's a serious bullshittery. Okay? Let's see. Oil price plunges after this 2-week pause. 10 demands. Iran reopens the strait, but I predict that it won't hold. I think Iran needs to buy time to develop a nuclear weapon. I think that's the truth that Iran has to secretly do. And nobody else may like it, but yeah. So, well, today was Taco Tuesday. Physical oil prices hit highs near $150 a barrel. Anyway, red lights flashing across the world. The whole nuke Iran bluff. Complete fucking bluff. Okay? I think Trump really thinks if he shuts down the power plants and Donald Trump bombs the desalination plants and bombs the industries that keep the country alive, that he will end, quote unquote, end their civilization. Yeah, I don't think so, Donnie. I'm just saying, I'm just saying I don't really think so. Okay. Meanwhile, Alex Jones has stood up and said, look, Donald Trump's lost his fucking ever-loving fucking mind, okay? He wasn't elected to do this. He wasn't supposed to do this. And, well, there he is, doing it, so to speak, okay? So, yeah, I'm trying to see where we at here. Oh, they're just on a bumper, okay. Crazy idiocracy, stupidity, take your pick, okay? I'm trying to figure out how much time I got left here before the break, because I know it's a little shorter in this clip. Where is, did I pull that clip up? Huh. No, I thought I opened it up, but I don't see it here. So we'll open it up anyway, okay? So yeah, Alex Jones has been pushing back against Donald Trump and his adventures in Iran and dealing with Israel itself, and is preparing to, I think if this is the clip he was on, he had Robert Barnes on, just as a disclaimer, Robert Barnes was my attorney at one time when I sued. Oh, I'm sorry, doggy. I'm sorry. When I sued the state of Virginia to reduce the number of ballot signatures during the COVID scamodemic, and while people really got sick, they just said, "Stay home and die. When you come in, we're going to kill you anyway." So yeah. Welcome back, Rev Radio. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it here. Alex Jones calling for the removal of Donald Trump. I can understand why. Essentially because Donald Trump has literally abandoned America first. That's a problem. Okay. Here's the clip.
Existential threat. How do we 25th Amendment is asked?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
I've known you a long time. You've never called for an internal coup before.
Ever. But that's how dangerous this is. That's how risky it is for the whole world.
Yeah, if I was the Democrats, I'd stop poking Trump and messing with him. That only makes it worse. Like, you guys need to watch out. This isn't a guy acting like he's crazy. This is real.
Well, what's there going to be to take over in 2026 or 2028 if this hits the fan? If we get it, he's threatening an extinction level event for the people of Iran tomorrow. Does nobody think there'll be any blowback from that? If he follows through on that, the whole world is screwed.
You were saying during the break, there's other ways to do this. People need to not just tell him the truth, like Susie Wall said. It's time.
I'll just say I don't believe that. I just believe that everything is a Truman Show, and they just somebody had to make it. Trump. Somebody tried to have it look like that. Um, but this pause is not the end. I would remind everybody that if you think about the Gaza Strip, if you think about Hezbollah and Hamas, and you think about what's going on in Lebanon daily, you think about what's going on in the West Bank every fucking day. There is no way, there is no possible way in the mind of the social fucktards of Israel that there could ever be peace. I'm just saying this idea is a false premise, okay? And the biggest enemy to all peace, of course, is Israel and their continual stealing of lands, of Arab lands. It is crazy. And murdering, of course, the murder of anybody that says no to these nut job Zionists. And here in the United States, we're making a serious mistake because we're not standing up and saying just not no, but fuck no, okay? Now, earlier this past week, there were reports that in Texas, there were elements of Sharia law courts that were literally being brought and holding court in Texas under Sharia law. Okay, I think the Texas Rangers and the Attorney General's office is looking into that. Okay. We must, listen, we have to stop these fuckers from abusing America, okay? And I'm talking about specifically about Muslims and Jews, all right? I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying the truth, okay? The fact is that they have 3 wives. And they're all individually collecting welfare and for all of their kids while on the government boob, on the government tit. And this isn't just a Muslim thing. It's also, this Jewish parasitism that they just believe that they're entitled to it. And they should just take it from you. And if you're stupid to... if you're not stupid, if you're too stupid about it, they'll just take it and you'll just look there and you'll think it's like a government function, and it's not. It's just they're thieves. I think this is a lot of how, Arab societies are working and parasiting here in the United States of America, and it's got to fucking stop. I mean, it really does. I mean, if you have 3 wives in Texas, you should be in fucking prison for bigamy, okay? For having multiple wives. If you're organizing a criminal fraud to collect food stamps, to collect welfare, to collect all this stuff based on this, you have a religious marriage ceremony, but not a quote unquote Texas legal marriage ceremony, but you still live as man and wife, blah blah blah. That's a problem. Particularly if Muslims in Texas are giving away 9-year-olds as wives to dirty old fucking men. Okay. Hey, does anybody need shark chum when they go out in the Gulf of America to fish? That's what, when you come to pedophiles, I think everybody should have a couple on their boat in case they need something to throw overboard to keep the sharks busy. I'm just, I'm bad. I really have I have a zero tolerance for that shit. Okay. But this is something that we're going to have to do. You know, the Iranians are questioning what happened to American values. Jesus fuck. American values. What the fuck are you talking about? We murdered our own fucking troops that had deserted. They were living in Laos. The United States government murdered them with sarin gas. Okay? I know that to be true. I know what kind of fucking shit government the United States has and how there are elements of it that are so corrupted and evil that the average person would say, no way, no, no way, no, they can't be, they aren't. And I'll tell you right now, these murdering pedophile, cult members that believe that there are leaders, they're not our leaders. They're not our leaders. They've stolen that power from the legitimate system that should have it. We can give it back to them if we choose to vote outside of the monopoly, outside of the retard monopoly, the Democrat and Republican reflection of retards, of retardation. Literally, they're fucking retards, okay? I'm just saying, that's how I look at Democrats and Republicans today as they battle back and forth in this ideological war. And it's like, look, you motherfuckers are the same in the same box, looking in the same fucking mirror at each other that wants to do to each other what they want to do to the other. One wants to ride them into oblivion. And nobody really wants to be free. They all want to be in control. So, yeah. Another ICE shooting in California. A soldier trying to just got married. Went to his first duty station in Louisiana. And his wife, he just married a few weeks ago, is an illegal immigrant from Guatemala. You'll never guess where she is right now. Yeah. They went to apply for base housing because they're married, but she doesn't have a green card. She came here to the United States when she was 2 years old, and she became a fugitive when her parents never went to the immigration hearings. Now this guy his wife is getting deported. And listen, they knew that this was a problem. Okay. I don't know why this guy, or what advice this guy took upon somebody to take his wife and put her in that predicament. Okay. He should have got someplace off base. But maybe, he was getting base housing. I don't know. So, yeah, maybe they just needed so they could get a pass to go on base to use the commissary, too. I don't know. But either way, she's now in ICE custody, and he's pissed. So, yeah, he says, I'm going to get my wife back, and we're going to live happily ever after. Good for him. I'm just saying it's not so smart to bring your wife, illegal immigrant wife, to a military base, okay? Think about it, boss man. But anyway, one guy was deported. He was never committed any crimes. He was just caught up in a stop somewhere. And he had been here in the United States for more than 20 years. He's been living here. He has family. He has a house. He has a job, blah, blah, blah. But he's been here illegally for 20 years. I've talked about this before, the problem with people that come into the United States and they just normalize themselves. And, after 10 years, 20 years, all of a sudden they make a wrong turn like that girl did down in Georgia, and her whole fucking family get deported, It's sad. It's fucked up. But understand, they came in knowing that what? Knowing that they were here illegally. I'm just trying to point that out, okay? So ICE is continuing. They've removed, the numbers are lower because they have broken them apart. They have arrested and deported 679,000 illegal immigrants. I don't think that includes the estimated 1.2 million who have self-deported. In other words, they pack up a lot of sell all their shit that they can, I guess, that they can't carry across the border, and then they go back to whence they came from with as much or as many of the assets, the monies that they've gathered together, and they take that money and they go back to where they came from. I understand that. I think that's a smart strategy. There's also people that leave and then try to come back through the system again. Okay. Some of them have already been recycled through the system to be legal illegals under the new Trump administration. The FBI has opened up a pre-crime center. Meanwhile, they can't find any current crime, I guess, and they have to go look for pre-crime. I guess they're going to look at, at soccer moms again, complaining about men in girls' bathrooms and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Holy shit, a new fee? Wow. A $100 fee if you want to walk down into the Grand Canyon. Travelers hit with a new massive $100 per person fee to enter Grand Canyon and other national parks under the federal rule. Wow. I guess they're having crowd issues, so they're trying to jack the prices up. But these are national parks. We should be spending our money on our infrastructure and our national parks before we, before we spend so much of it overseas. But of course, you should be aware that the fucking budget has hit $40 trillion in debt. Now, I don't know about y'all, but just understand that if you extrapolate, here is some pretty fucked up government math. If you extrapolate back through the time of what we're looking at in the last 30 years, okay, and the explosion of the debt and the debt bubble, okay? You look at the explosion in the what? The social service programs since the COVID scamdemic, okay? What I would tell people, what I would explain to individuals, is that government control over everything has exponentially increased during that time, and this quote unquote new normal, this new normal where it's the same old, okay? That Republicans and Democrats fight amongst themselves and pretend to do this and that, and they do nothing, okay? The Attorney General is essentially in on the gig and plays a quarterback, I think, for Israel. Okay, I think Pam Bondi and Donald Trump are essentially being blackmailed by Israel. Okay, you know, how many coincidences do you need? Okay, Erica Kirk. Yeah, Charlie's hot, voluptuous, endowed wife, a Jeffrey Epstein girl. I'm just saying, okay? Pam Bondi, association with Epstein and Trump at Mar-a-Lago and such. I mean, listen, there's too much history to ignore, particularly when all of this stuff these are slam dunk trials on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. The truth is, Maureen Comey should be sent to prison for 20 years for obstruction of justice. Okay, these FBI agents and others who essentially, firewalled and killed investigations. These people need to be rounded up, and then they need to be held for their own safety. Because, of course, the rumors of people coming to kill them because of their testimony that has already been leaked when they, fake leaked, okay? I mean, I'm waiting for deepfakes to start to come out with this big, massive conspiracy and said, oh, yeah, did you hear? This person cracked. And then they went to this other person and they cracked and they did this. And it could all be a deepfake. But they would all be exposed to the point where people would say, yeah, we know what you did. Even though that looks real, that looks fake, it's just, we know you did it, okay? That's why you can't trust government at all right? Let me try to get back on track here, okay? Donald Trump allegedly called in Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel and says, don't worry, boys. You're still on the team. You're doing an okay job. Of course, Dan Bonagino, who was kind of the third wheel and all that, is pretty much out here cheerleading Trump and saying that everything that I've seen and this and that. Listen, everything that we've seen from the Manhattan Correctional Center and what's been released from the Jeffrey Epstein pedo Mossad blackmail files. Listen, this criminal organization that Jeffrey Epstein worked with goes all the way back into the 1990s. And it is directly connected to the biggest banker in the world, Evelyn Rothschild. I don't give a fuck who you are. You aren't going to investigate that because of the banksters that are involved. Because it goes to the root of Satan's portal on this planet. Yeah, the Rothschilds, okay? Yeah. You never notice that it's okay to worship Moloch, but not Jesus Christ? Yeah, with Easter, with Easter being this past weekend and stuff, it's kind of always a tough time for me, okay? Of the year. I lost my mother, actually, today. In 2015. So yeah. Fight to find the truth in your life. That that's something that everybody is going to have to do. And the truth, and you cannot count on news organizations and others, literally coming out here and, telling you the truth, okay? of what is going on and what is going down. Okay. The FBI arrested 8 suspects of a $60 million LA County fraud in LA County and fraud over hospice. Over 243 companies were shut down in Los Angeles alone. There's also investigations that have found that that Medicaid, Medicare funds and the Medi-Cal funds are being used to pay for individuals who live in Tijuana, full-time Mexicans that are, that were never American citizens, but the government allows you to, and anybody to sign up and dang, sign on to it, man. What else we got going on here? The Department of Homeland Security rescinded a policy requiring Secretary of Homeland Security to review contracts that are above $100,000. But I think they have a cap on $5 million or something in aggregate, whatever's, and they all need to be the the bean counters need to look at it closer. Here in Virginia, the new Democrat racist, the governor, and the Attorney General has essentially declared that if you're white, you cannot get a government grant or a government contract under $100,000. Straight out racism, perpetrated by the state of Virginia against white people. It's absolutely, it's absolutely un-American and absolutely unconstitutional what they are doing. Don't forget, as I said earlier, that U.S. debt clock, yes, is where is this? Where's the exit at? Bang. Oh, that sends it to X. Okay, well, I just shut it down. Okay. But anyway, the U.S. debt clock, as I said, hit $40 trillion. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. In fact, I expect it to go to $43 trillion. $45 trillion probably. Maybe even Trump's going to say, we're going to have $47 trillion in debt by the 47th president. I guess they think it's funny. I don't know. We all know that the United States is never going to pay that amount of money back. What else we got going on here now? 7 signs Donald Trump's White House is in a meltdown and that something huge is about to happen. Well, there's going to be a lot of consequences to Trump's quote-unquote strong language and ultimatum. And, we're going to have to find out really in detail whether Donald Trump Donald Trump never said nuke Iran, okay? I'm sorry. I think a lot of people took Trump's tough language and they ran with it. And they I think you could nuke the shit out of Iran, but you're still not going to destroy Iran and their culture and the people. You just won't. And to believe that you can shows that that you are being led down a path that where now this is done. What's next? What did Trump say was next? Cuba. But this isn't done. This is the same old, 2-week delay, 2-week ceasefire, the same shit that Israel does every time. We will find out during these negotiations. I'm sorry. Does anybody think Israel was going to fucking stop bombing Iran? I mean, does anybody realistically think? It's crazy, but yeah, it is madness. It's true madness that all these guys are, going down. And yeah. It truly is a bizarre world that we're being sheep dipped into even more. Okay, let's see if we got any other updates on this quote unquote Taco Tuesday ceasefire. U.S., Iran, Israel agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. Tehran will allow safe passage via Hormuz for 2 weeks. President Trump agrees to the ceasefire with Iran conditional on them agreeing to complete immediate and safe passage of the Hormuz Straits. Iran accepts Pakistan's 2-week ceasefire proposal, which the deal approved by the supreme leader of Iran says safe passage via Hormuz possible for 2 weeks. Now we're going to see 2,000 ships try to get through there in the next 2 weeks. Okay, the question is, remember, there are still mines floating around out there. There is still Israeli sabotage that is going to happen. Okay. I see this as temporary because I don't think that, I think that the conditions that Israel and the U.S. want to impose on Tehran will never be really acceptable because it will be literally accepting slavery. The other part of that is too that whether Shiite Muslims agree or disagree with the Shia, okay, this is clear and compelling evidence that that Muslims can be pushed back, okay? That, that there is hope for Germany and Italy and Spain and the UK and Canada and the United States and other nations that are facing this assimilation, by immigration. That has to stop, okay? And the truth is, it is a projection of a standard of a warfare standard that Islam uses to assimilate and literally to take over countries. It's something that different different cults, I would say, or have been doing for years or for hundreds or thousands of years. I also will point out that Islam is not a real religion. It's more of a political, what would you want to call it? A political theology. Now, remember, Judaism and Islam both believe that they are, superior to you. That you are essentially a black man on a Democrat plantation in 1862. The American people and the rest of the fucking world does not want to say and face the absolute truth that these two groups of motherfuckers treat us as if we are their slaves and we are lesser than them. And they do. They essentially sell us left and right. They sell us up and down. They sell us wars and death and destruction. on both sides of this perverted equation of, oh my God, I survived genocide, and the other is, oh my God, I'm a minority, I'm a peaceful Muslim. There's no such thing as a peaceful Muslim. I don't give a fuck who you are, okay? That's a falsity. I'm sorry, it just is, okay? It's no such thing as a peaceful Jew. I'm just saying it is, because they are inherently, both groups are inherently discriminatory, and as I said, they treat you as if you're a black man on a plantation. They have no respect for you. And the only thing you can do to gain their respect is to convert and then bow down and blah, 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 and become as retarded as they are. I mean, I'm sorry going off on that rant, or maybe I'm not. I'm fucking sick of this ignorant shit. Does anybody really believe that there's going to be a real ceasefire in the Middle East? They're not capable. No group in the Middle East is capable of living peacefully together, because they all view each other as niggers. I turned off my microphone, as niggers, okay? They treat each other so fucking bad and with such fucking disrespect, they can never treat each other decently. Sorry, Rev Radio, but those words are banned at Revolution Radio. The N starts with an N and ends in an R. Okay, I'm just saying. The black communities are essentially, we're all treated equally as equal slaves and goyim and infidels across the board by these individuals. It's only Donald Trump's retardedness that he is bought in, or has Donald Trump essentially committed himself to Judaism after he had allegedly converted in 2014, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Can't say. I'm not in Donald Trump's circle, and I don't even want to be, okay? Those people are so fucked in the head, they wouldn't know what normal is. Anyway, the Education Department ditches Title IX agreements that push transgender agendas in multiple schools. Previous administrations distorted the law to police discrimination based on gender identity instead of sex for which it was intended. Yes, chicks with dicks are not women. Not in any universe, not in any reality. Chicks with dicks are just fucked up men. Okay? Let's see. I talked about the CIA ghost murmur to locate missing airmen up from 40 miles away in the right conditions. If your heart is beating, they will find you. Wow, isn't that nice? The Iraqi protesters overran a Kuwaiti consulate, angry over the role of U.S. actions in Iran. Remember, Iraq is Shia for the most part. That means they are essentially allied with Iran. It's just the same old drag here at home, where the government is working overtime to steal our liberties and to steal our rights. Captain Fred asked in the chat room this morning about a constitutional convention. I think it's completely fucked if you do. Because the simple fact is we don't have the power. We don't have the votes. We don't have the people. We don't have the numbers to win in a constitutional convention, because it will get hijacked. It it will become a perverted circle of death for the United States. That's why, I'm really, I don't think we have the juice, the political power, we the people in America. I think there's too many fucking retards out there with Trump derangement syndrome, or or on the other side of that loop, they have, they are so bent out of shape about what Democrats are, what have they become, that they have become obsessive and compulsive and somewhat deranged, and because of the psychological war that we're in, where Trump derangement syndrome literally has a physical effect on liberals. You have essentially the same thing. So you have groups of people out here in the streets yelling at each other. And the truth is, neither side can see through the how they are being used as, useful idiots by this political system, and they're going to lose both the things that they're talking about, trying to save. It's the saddest thing that you really ever wanted to see. The Democrats had a No Kings protest, and all that came were old white people. They realized they have a serious demographic problem. Why I say that? Because the illegal immigrant crowd couldn't show up. And, the black community has finally realized that Democrats, the long-term trends in America, are against Democrats. Before the Biden Mayorkas invasion on the border, the Democrat power in the United States was going downhill. It was waning. Okay? They have essentially used 25 million illegal immigrants to attempt to gerrymander the states. Now there are people that are finally talking about this, and they're finally pointing it out. And I'm waiting for these federal lawsuits, these federal civil rights lawsuits that Democrats have literally abandoned conservative voters in their states. There should be a way to challenge the state on their counting of illegal immigrants. Now, here in Virginia, the CIA spook leader, Spamberger, she wants illegal immigrants to vote in Virginia. Okay? As I said before, Democrats push through this gerrymandering and then push through illegal immigrant voting. We will have a civil war here in Virginia. We will have a shooting civil war here in Virginia should Democrats do that. I don't think they realize it yet. I don't think Northern Virginia gives a flying fuck about the rest of the state. I don't think that the Democrats in Richmond, Virginia have a clue as to the motto of Virginia, where the citizen is standing on top of a dead fucking tyrant. Okay? They should be well aware that these moves that are made, to strip Virginians of their legal gun rights. I mean, I don't know what it is, but the government is becoming seriously retarded, where they want to, here in Franklin County, southwest, South Central Virginia, the fucking county board of supervisors is trying to push through a rezoning or ordinances and stuff, and they want to limit to somebody to have only 6 chickens on an acre of land, and they can't have a fucking rooster. I mean, I just, I just think people should line up and carry signs into the fucking board of supervisors meeting. Save our cocks. I mean, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people, but I think I'm going to do that. I'll get with these guys and find out when the next meetings are, and, I'll make up some signs, okay? But it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, the control that the county now wants to exert over private lands, okay? This has become acceptable for some of the people here in Franklin County because they live over by Smith Mountain Lake, where, just to get a lakefront property, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think tax assessed, my mom was tax assessed a lot 10 years ago, was taxed at $60,000 an acre. And, that included the right-of-way going in where you can't build a fucking road and then it slopes off. I mean, it's it's absolutely fucking stupid, okay? And down here in North Carolina, they just redid the real estate taxes and stuff, okay? They have a woman with a double-wide mobile home had a tax assessment, and I'm not talking about big acreage, I'm talking about just 3 to 5 acres or something, okay? $400,000 fucking dollars for a double-wide mobile home. Listen, what has happened is whether it's in Franklin County, Virginia, or fucking North Carolina, or wherever it is, these real estate taxes have essentially become this money mother lode for local governments. And now what has essentially happened is that people are being taxed out of their homes. But anyway, this is the Trump assassination files, right? So Donald Trump is also has to go to talk to Xi in China, where the United States gets most of its electrical parts for pretty much, well, everything, okay? Between India and China, electrical components and other components, America is dependent on it for an AI build out. All of the data centers that they want to put everywhere, all the steel and copper, imported circuit breakers, trillions of dollars of spending on data centers. Literally data centers. Why do you need so many data centers? I mean, seriously, why do you need these AI data centers that, they're overbuilding right now, but they're way behind in what the capacity that they claim that they need? Why do you have to track everybody and everything and every digit in the world? That's a question that should be asked of our government, okay? What else we got going on here? Let me sort through some of this stuff. Ex-CIA, Trump's claim about obliterating Iranian air defenses was premature and wrong. Don't forget that, Russia is going, if it's 2 weeks, Russia has to, and China has to rearm and resupply Iran, they're gonna, okay? Now, I have proposed this idea, and I think it's something that could happen, Okay, it could happen that Iran will essentially come under the umbrella of protection from attack by a group of nations. And in the end, Israel will attack. What will the response be? I don't know. But this is why, I think the world has to be cautious about this Iranian-Pakistani alliance. Just because of the guarantees that, Pakistan might say, look, you give it up, we'll cover you. And we guarantee you they won't attack you, or we'll nuke the mother knuckers. Okay, there is some kind of guarantee that is going to have some teeth that will punch Israel in the mouth should they decide to attack again. I don't think that this is a permanent thing. I just think this is a rearm or a chance to reload, a chance to get troops into position, a chance to bring in more bombs and bullets and target analysis. Also to watch what Iran does, okay? I still believe Iran is and must create their own nuclear weapon. Some people will wholly disagree with that, and I understand why. But understand the psychology of the tribes and the uncivilized Middle East, and then you should and you can understand that that shaking hands with any of these people is a fool's errand. Yeah, let's see. Kamala Harris said, we must be clear-eyed to oppose new court nominees by Donald Trump. Yeah. As I said, I don't see any of that happening right now, maybe a year or two down the road. But as I have said before, I personally believe that Donald Trump has a terminal illness. Okay, of course, he does appear to have a soulless streak that he's running right now. I don't think that to be the whole case, but I believe Donald Trump was given some really bad news, and that the illness that he has is terminal. It's just a question of how long and delay and everything else. And if Donald Trump has cancer and he isn't taking ivermectin, and he isn't taking fenbendazole, I would say his fucking doctors are trying to kill him. But that's my personal opinion, okay? I feel bad because, I've watched my friend Rodney whittle away over a time with his pancreatic cancer, okay? And he trusted the doctors. And I was coming in with, with all this other stuff and, but anyway, once it spread to metastasized to his liver, I don't know how much, too little, too late then. But be aware is what I would say. There's these rumors and all this stuff out here right now that is essentially claiming that Donald Trump is sick. And I saw a picture of Donald Trump, one of the first pictures I've seen for many months of Donald Trump on the golf course. And if you looked at his face, it looked hollow, and it looked as if he was trimming down, losing weight. But the rumors of J.D. Vance, getting ready to essentially to take over the hot seat after the midterm elections, should Democrats take the win and impeach Donald Trump. I don't know. I don't even know if J.D. Vance is going to run for president in 2028. Okay, I don't know. Probably, possibly, likely. But the truth is, we're not 100% sure what they're doing. Okay? Let's see. Pete Hegseth, the commander, has also said that military bases are not gun-free zones. Policies that disarmed the people we trust in combat do not enhance safety. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, I got pulled over and taken down and busted at the provost office for having my compound bow with my arrows in the car at Camp Lejeune. He said that was a deadly weapon. Poor Sergeant Matos comes up there and he says, "Bub, you? Really?" And they're giving him my bow and my compound bow and my arrows. I mean, it was, it's jacked up to 80 pounds. It was a really nice bow when I bought it, top of the line. But yeah. Anyway, so it's crazy what they can and don't do. But gun-free zones, it sounds like a liberal thing, It's really crazy. Cyber crimes costing Americans nearly $21 billion. Still nothing really when you look at the healthcare fraud in the United States. Those numbers are are minuscule. People are saying that $400 billion a year is lost in the United States to fraud in the healthcare system. $400 billion. Yeah, it doesn't take long up after about 20 years. That's how many trillion did you say we was in debt for? Oh, 40 trillion. That's why people have said, fuck it, and quit paying taxes. That's a dangerous game, my friends. That's what I would tell you if you choose to tax protest. Believe me, I know. They're coming after me now, okay, for my tax protesting years ago. The state of Virginia is hard up for money. They think my pocket is where they can get it. Really, they do. Well, anyway, I hope y'all are having a great day. God bless you. We should be hitting the break any second over here on Revolution Radio. Man, I am telling you, it has just been weird. Texas considering reading a list of schools, including a reading list for schools, including reading the Bible. Oh, that ought to send them out the fucking loophole. Hey, we'll be back on Rev Radio with Michael J. Anderson and the road to Damascus. Let me mute that. Let me mute that and say, hey everybody, thanks, man. Take care, and remember that you do change the world every day. God bless, good day, and good luck. We'll see you later, I'm sure. Craziness is all around, man. All around. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sweeney Day. Yeah, Sweet Day, Dreams. Man, that really sucks. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. And my mom had a skin cancer. They found it when she had stage 4 skin cancer. My dad had a renal carcinoma. That man, he looked rough when he passed. All good, all bad. Take care. We'll see you Thursday, God willing. God bless. Good day and good luck.